I'm going to try this clicker and see if I can make this thing work. Okay, not happening. All right, try. Whoa, no. Did you do that or I do that?
She did that.
Okay, she's doing that. A little bit about myself before I jump into this. My name's Steve Nichols. I work for ProLon Controls. We're out of Montreal, Canada. Now, just out of show of hands, how many of you guys have heard of ProLon before? Oh, well, that feels good. So previous to coming to ProLon, I worked at Honeywell for 28 years and had a good run there. I spent about 4.5 years at Johnson and had a good experience and learned a lot. Worked with a lot of good people there. And I bounced over to ProLon back in November, and our niche, where we fit in the market, is light commercial. We don't go after the tritium work. We're not trying to chase that, right? That's not where we belong. Not trying to put you on the spot, but we're not going after the tritium work. We're going for that building that's anywhere between 5,000 feet to 100,000 square foot building. That's our fit. We have pre-configured controllers. So we have several apps that have been pre-built for it. We have a boiler app, a chiller app, we have a cooling tower app, makeup air app, we have a constant volume rooftop app. We have one for changeover bypass and VAV. So we have several apps that are pre-made for our controllers. So as a technician, you just need to show up, plug in your device, log into it from your phone, tablet, or computer, and configure it. So when you estimate your job, you're not estimating all this time in there to do programming. And as you're configuring your controller, the graphics automatically make themselves automatically. So as you add a bypass damper or a sensor, it will just show up on the graphic for you. So you're not spending any time estimating time in your job for programming or for graphics. So we're coming at a lower cost point, and we're trying to focus on that smaller customer. We're not looking at the hospital like the tritium world does, right? We're looking at the urgent care. We're looking at the car dealership, the restaurant, right? We're looking for the dock in the box. We're looking for the medium-sized strip malls, things like that. That's where ProLon really does well. And so do you mind moving forward? Now, can anyone tell me what all three of these things have in common? Raise a hand, anyone?
They're gone, obsolete.
They're gone, thank you. Next slide, please. And there we go. And so as an industry, I feel that we have an opportunity and even a responsibility to adapt. Otherwise, we end up being one of those really great companies that everyone used to know. And so as a company like ProLon, one of the things that we're doing is we're considering AI in our next generation controllers. In fact, we've already got an analytics piece coming out later this year, because in the light commercial space, we haven't seen a lot of that going on. I know that when I was over at Johnson, we started putting that in the reverses product. We started putting AI at the edge. That was the whole idea, is to make the controller smarter. And I love that direction, because we should. We should do everything possible that we can as an industry to make their equipment, our customers' equipment, as smart as possible, because we need to save them energy, which saves them money. And so those are two responsibilities I feel like we have. And so at ProLon, that's one of our hot things we're working on, is making that end user piece, that controller on that piece of equipment, smarter. And so, do you mind forwarding for me? Thank you. And just maybe forward 5 more just to load up the screen here. And this is the market that we're looking at. 94% of the market here in the US is the light commercial market. Now, the other 6%, that's the tritium world, and tritium can play in this 94% as well. But that 6% is a very competitive world to be in. This 94%, this light commercial field, there's a couple good products out there. Versus is one of those. LCBS, you got the TC500, some of those, and you hear Pelican. There's a couple others that come into the market as well. But that's the market we're really going for, is that mid-market. The nice thing is, if you look at this, let's see, do you mind forwarding one more? There we go, and let's see. 44% of electricity in the US is inside this market, in the light commercial market. So if we can make those rooftops and those pieces of equipment a little more intelligent, save a little more energy, we can have a huge dent. And so that's our task at ProLon, is to make our buildings smarter. So you can fast forward for me, please. And in sake of time, you did so well, by the way, at just jumping through. So you just fast forward through all this. I'll jump towards the end here and just get to the point. And so this is a good way, maybe 2 more. This is a great way for a contractor who's currently doing thermostats but wants to become a tritium person. It's very hard to make that jump. ProLon is a good gateway drug into the tritium world. If you want to be a programmer, if you want to be in the controls world, ProLon's a great step to get there. ProLon's a perfect set for that middle market, and if you can rock that market, then make your move. Go over to Richmond, Virginia, and sit in that class and learn tritium. So this is a good gateway drug into the controls world. Next, please. And then one more. And so at ProLon on our roadmap, we have a new device coming out called the BACnet Broker. Now I have to be very careful, and I'm going to say this right up front. I came over to ProLon in November. This product was already being worked on, okay? This is already being baked, and this will be out later this year, because we have that already in the Versa Smart Building Hub. We had a BACnet Broker already in that. So we have a similar product coming out of ProLon that was already in the works. What this allows us to do, now, I know that my shirt here says ProLon, and that's kind of, that doesn't make much sense because we don't do any lawn at all. We do Modbus. That's our family. We also have a little bit of BACnet that we do as well. But with this BACnet Broker, we'll be able to take anybody's BACnet device, BACnet MSTP, and then import it into our system. And at that point, we can trend it. We can schedule it. We can turn things on and off. We can actually share data from a third-party rooftop across our network with another third-party rooftop. So that's the BACnet Broker coming out later this year. So next, please. Now, we had a lot of feedback from customers that we needed to have more I/O on our VAV and changeover bypass controllers. You might notice that the actuator looks a lot like Belimo. It's because it is a Belimo actuator. We love Belimo. We've partnered with them, and we just slap our controllers on top of their actuators, and it's a good marriage. And that orange is Belimo orange. We love Belimo so much that we have orange on our controllers. So those controllers will be out later this year. Next, please. The other piece, this is what I'm excited about. Yes, we do have a cloud. And the nice thing about the cloud at ProLon is there's no fee for the product. There's no licensing with ProLon. There's no yearly fees. There's no extra fees you're going to saddle an end user with, because in the light commercial space, if you put this in a daycare center, telling them that to pay a yearly fee can be kind of a bit much, right? If you're at a hospital and put in tritium, they get it. They do SMAs all day long. It's not a big deal to them. But for a smaller building, that may be a little too much. So with our cloud, there's no fee for our cloud. That's just part of the product line. Move on, please. And then we'll go on to the next slide. Now, one of the product gaps that we had when I came over to ProLon is I wanted a nice-looking thermostat, a nice-looking wall module. And that was one of the first things I said when I talked to Mark Bergeron that owns ProLon. I says, we're kind of missing a piece there, right? He says, well, actually, we already got it coming out. So we have our new thermostat coming out later this year. If you just fast forward through it, it talks a bit about it. And this thermostat will be able to handle a VFD and economization all in the wall module, or in the one controller itself. So it's going to be perfect for that the ARC type rooftop, advanced rooftop control. So, and those are some of the new items that we have coming out at ProLon this year. And we have many more things coming out, but I see a focus on AI. You already heard it in there, but it's happening. It's already here. It's in our pockets. We all carry it around. We're all doing AI already. I don't think we need to be scared of it. I really don't. A lot of people are saying, well, we're going to lose jobs to it. We probably will in some sectors. But we still need people to come off the street, walk into a Cochrane Supply, buy a part off the shelf, and still put it in. AI can't do that. So we are still a valid industry where we need to be out there on site. But what we need to do is to make, when we're on site, to make that equipment smarter. Because instead of having to drive out to a job site to turn off an economizer because there's too much smoke in the air from all the fires that we were having out where I live, you can actually just go online and do it, right? You don't have to travel 3 hours to do that. And so we want smarter buildings, and that's what we're going for. And our new thermostat is going to get us there. So I appreciate your time today. If you have any questions, I'm in the exhibition hall. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.